The Twilight Saga. Some call it a cinematic masterpiece. Others call it a glitter-dusted disaster. But today, we're ignoring the critics and the box office and ranking these 5 films on the only metric that truly matters, the cringe factor. Look, I was a certified twihard back in 2008. I had the posters, I read the books more times than I can count, and I was unshakably Team Edward. But with age comes wisdom, and with wisdom comes the ability to look back and realize just how wonderfully weird these movies are. This isn't a hate watch, it's a celebration. We're here to crown the most gloriously awkward, wonderfully weird, and hilariously cringy movie of the entire saga. We're talking about everything from questionable dialogue, and even more questionable wigs, to melodrama so thick you could cut it with a vampire's tooth. So grab your apple, because things are about to get weird. Coming in at number 5, as the least cringeworthy of the bunch, is Eclipse. Now, don't get me wrong, this movie has its moments. It is a Twilight movie after all, but it's almost too competent for its own good. It's the middle child of the saga, and it has that classic middle child forgettability. Most of the movie is focused on action. We've got Victoria building her newborn vampire army, some genuinely cool fight training with the Cullens, and the backstories of Rosalie and Jasper, which are actually pretty compelling. But all this focus on plot means there's way less time for the pure, unfiltered awkwardness we came here for. However, Eclipse is not without its cringe treasures. The peak, of course, is the infamous tent scene. Bella is freezing to death, so Jacob, a human furnace, has to get in her sleeping bag to save her, while Edward, her ice-cold vampire boyfriend, is forced to watch. This leads to Jacob delivering the legendary line,
"Let's face it, I am hotter than you."
The sheer audacity and the secondhand embarrassment radiating from Edward make for a perfect storm of cringe. We also get Bella desperately trying to get Jacob to stay by asking him to kiss her.
Kiss me!
Just moments after discussing her engagement to Edward.
Your heart's an empty hole.
It's so uncomfortable, it's hard to watch. And Bella rightfully gets a broken hand after punching Jacob for a different unwanted kiss earlier in the film. But overall, compared to the rest of the saga, Eclipse feels more like a standard action movie, which brings its cringe factor way down. It tries to be serious, and it mostly succeeds, leaving it at the bottom of our list. At number 4, we have New Moon, the movie that asks the question, how much teen angst can you possibly fit into 2 hours? The answer is a lot. An almost unbearable amount. After Edward breaks up with Bella in the woods, she plunges into a deep depression. The movie shows this with that iconic shot of her sitting motionless in a chair, as the months, October, November, December, pass by her window. The main source of cringe in New Moon isn't even funny, it's just sad. Bella's entire personality evaporates. She becomes a ghost, haunted by a sparkly vision of Edward that only appears when she does something reckless.
You stupid!
So, naturally, she seeks out strangers on motorcycles and jumps off a cliff. The melodrama is laid on so thick it's suffocating. But then, the cringe starts to get fun again. Jacob Black enters the chat, and he enters it without a shirt. This movie marks the birth of shirtless Jacob, a trope that carries us through the rest of the series.
Why did you just take off your shirt?
My contract says I have to every 10 minutes of screen time.
The werewolves are introduced, and with them, some truly baffling creative choices. The scene where the wolf pack confronts a rival vampire in the meadow, and they communicate through subtitled wolf growls is a moment in cinema history. And who can forget Jacob's iconic, meme-ified line?
Bella! Where the hell have you been, Luca?
It's a line delivered with such baffling enthusiasm that it has lived on in internet infamy forever. The film's climax in Italy is also a cringe goldmine, with a distraught, shirtless Edward striding through a festival in slow motion to reveal himself to the world. It's peak melodrama, but because so much of the movie is just a depressing slog, New Moon only manages to clinch the number 4 spot.
Bella, what is that god-awful wet dog smell?
That's probably me.
Now for the top 3. At number 3 is the one that started it all, the original, the iconic 2008's Twilight. This movie is the foundation upon which all other cringe was built.
Oh my gosh! This is perfect.
It walked so the other films could run, awkwardly, through a forest. Where do you even begin? The blue filter that drenches every scene, making Forks, Washington look like it's permanently underwater? The stilted, breathless dialogue? Or maybe it's the constant, intense staring between Bella and Edward?
I can't move it anymore.
The first biology class scene, where Edward looks like he's about to either vomit or pass out from Bella's scent, is a masterclass in unintentional comedy. And the lines. Oh, the lines.
So the lion fell in love with the lamb. You're like my own personal brand of heroin.
And of course, the single most iconic, baffling, and belovedly cringy line in the entire saga.
You better hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
The fact that Robert Pattinson delivered that with a straight face while perched on a tree is a testament to his strength as an actor. And let's not forget the legendary baseball scene. A group of vampires playing baseball during a thunderstorm, set to Muse's supermassive black hole, is so absurdly extra, so deeply 2008, that it transcends cringe and becomes art. This movie is a perfect time capsule of awkward teen romance, and for that, it earns a very respectable number 3 on our list. Taking the silver medal for cringe is Breaking Dawn Part 1. If Twilight was awkward first love, this movie is the horrifying, body horror-infused reality of what comes next. The first half is relatively tame. We have the wedding and the honeymoon, where Edward, in his vampire strength, completely demolishes a bed frame. It's played for romance, but just comes off as hilariously destructive. But everything changes when Bella gets pregnant. The film pivots from supernatural romance into a full-blown horror movie, and the cringe is cranked up to 11. Bella's body wastes away as the half-vampire fetus literally breaks her from the inside.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
She's forced to drink blood from a styrofoam cup through a straw just to survive. It is deeply unsettling.
Bruh, I'm gonna have to level with you. This bitch don't look right. I mean, she look all ashy, and if I was you, I'd just be out. Let's just go. Come on, let's go.
The real cringe, however, comes from Jacob. His storyline is a festival of terrible decisions. First, the wolf pack has a telepathic conversation about whether to kill Bella and the baby, and it's shot with the seriousness of a political thriller. Hearing a deep, booming voice say,
You have to protect the tribe.
while looking at a CGI wolf is just impossible to take seriously. Then there's the imprinting. After Bella gives birth in one of the most graphic scenes in a PG-13 movie ever, Jacob prepares to kill the baby he blames for her death. But then, he looks into the eyes of the newborn, Renesmee, and imprints on her. He falls in love with a baby, an infant.
It's like gravity.
It is, without a doubt, one of the most bizarre and universally mocked plot points in modern fiction, and seeing it on screen is a cringe experience like no other. The slow motion, the dramatic music, the sheer wrongness of it all secures Breaking Dawn Part 1 its spot as the second cringiest film in the saga.
Look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No, 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 no.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The number 1, undisputed, heavyweight champion of cringe. The movie that took one look at the absurdity of the first 4 films and said, hold my blood bag. I'm talking, of course, about Breaking Dawn Part 2. This movie is a masterpiece of camp. It completely abandons any pretense of being a serious drama and just leans into the glorious insanity of its own universe. And at the center of that insanity is one of the most horrifying creations in cinematic history, CGI baby Renesmee. The result of superimposing an older actor's face onto a baby's body is an uncanny valley nightmare that will haunt your dreams. The cringe just snowballs from there. Bella, now a vampire, is overjoyed with her new powers, until she finds out Jacob has imprinted on her daughter.
You what?
This brings us to perhaps the funniest line reading in the entire franchise. Kristen Stewart, with the fury of 1,000 suns, grabs Jacob and screams,
You nicknamed my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster?
It is pure comedic gold, delivered with an intensity the line simply does not deserve. The movie's plot revolves around the Cullens gathering an international crew of vampires to witness that Renesmee isn't a threat. This gives us a delightful parade of cartoonish vampire stereotypes. But the pièce de résistance, the moment that crowns this movie the king of cringe, is the final battle.
You know what that means?
No.
The Kardashians are in town.
Pain.
Without love,
Pain.
I can't get enough.
Pain.
I like it rough, 'cause I'd rather feel
Pain.
nothing at all.
In the book, nothing happens, but the movie gives us a glorious 10-minute fake-out battle where beloved characters are brutally decapitated left and right. Carlisle's head gets ripped off,
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Jasper is torn apart, and the audience in 2012 collectively lost their minds. And just when you think it's over, we learn it was all just a vision.
Sneaky and extravagant.
It's the ultimate cinematic troll, a move so audacious you can't help but laugh along with Michael Sheen's unhinged giggle. For its unhinged plot, its nightmare-fueled CGI, and that spectacular battle, Breaking Dawn Part 2 is, without a doubt, the most gloriously and iconically cringe-worthy movie of the Twilight Saga. So there you have it. From the forgettable action of Eclipse to the camp masterpiece that is Breaking Dawn Part 2, we've journeyed through awkward dialogue, questionable wigs, and enough melodrama to last a lifetime. These movies might not have won many Oscars, but they won our hearts with their earnest and often hilarious commitment to being completely over the top. They are a perfect time capsule, and looking back at the cringe is half the fun.
It was fun.
Now, I have to turn it back to you one last time. I gave you my ranking, but what is the single cringiest moment in the entire saga? Is it the spider monkey line? The CGI baby? Let me know your pick in the comments below. Thanks for watching!